Alright, so now we're going to transition my thoughts, and I'm going to say whether I think this camera is or is not worth it in 2021. What's up guys, Leaf right here, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing why I decided to add the Panasonic GH5 to my setup and also whether it is worth the purchase in 2021. So guys, if you're new to my channel, the kind of things you guys will see here is tips, tricks, reviews, and tutorials for the budget filmmaker / content creator. So if that is something you're interested in, consider subscribing right now. Alright guys, so as you can see, I have added the Panasonic Lumix GH5 to my setup, and real quick I want to go over with you guys 3 reasons why I decided to add that to my setup, and we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into it right now. Alright guys, reason number 1 is the codecs. With the Panasonic GH5 you can record in 422 10-bit internally, and you have the option to record with 150 megabits per second and 400 megabits per second. The 400 megabits per second is an all-I codec as well, so it's a very large beefy codec. So basically kind of break down what the 10-bit is compared to what the Sony is shooting, which is the 420 8-bit. It has a lot more information in the file, which would let you push the colors and manipulate the image a lot more than you could like with the Sony's 420 100 megabyte 8-bit file. And I've been getting more into that lately, and I've noticed with my Sony when I try to push the colors a little bit further than I probably should, there's a lot of the file just starts breaking down, get a lot of noise in the colors, and it doesn't look good. So that is reason number 1, is just I'm getting more into color correcting and manipulating my image, and with the GH5 I have that flexibility versus with the Sony I just don't have that, unfortunately. Alright, so reason number 2 is 4K 60 frames per second. I've used this a little bit so far since I've had it, and I love using the 4K 60 frames per second. Obviously the slow motion is not as good as 120 frames per second, but the resolution that you get compared to the 120 frames per second, which is on the Sony, and I haven't used it on the GH5 yet, but from what I've seen online, it's just a little bit softer, so having that higher resolution with the 4K is awesome. So that is reason number 2. And reason number 3 is the video-centric features. You have so many things that can make this thing a great video camera. You have your grid lines, you have your histograms, you have your focus peaking, you have your zebras, you have your headphone jack so you can monitor your audio, you have a full-size HDMI cable if you want to record to an external recorder, or if you want to hook up an external monitor. There's so many ways you can customize this. There's 3 options to customize your settings with this camera. It's just so many things you can do with this. You have the angle / ISO setting, which basically gives you the 180 degree rule, which basically you set it that way, and no matter which frame rate you shoot in, your shutter speed is automatically set to the 180 degree rule. So that is awesome. I don't know how many times I've used this, and I will switch from 24 frames per second, go to 120 frames per second, and I will forget to adjust the shutter speed. So with this, I mean, I don't have to worry about that with the angle ISO setting, is because again it just already sets at that 180 degree rule. So I can go from 24, 30, 60, 120, 180, because this thing can shoot all the way to 180 frames per second, 1080. I probably will never use that, but irregardless, it'll set it to that. So that is reason number 3. Alright, so now we're going to transition my thoughts, and I'm going to say whether I think this camera is or is not worth it in 2021. And honestly, hell yes, it is worth it, the purchase in 2021. Yes, this is now a 4-year-old camera, but this thing has aged so well. This thing came out 2017 with features that cameras nowadays are just now starting to have. For example, 4K 60, recording codecs, 422 10-bit, in-body image stabilization, the video-centric features. This thing was ahead of its time. This thing is still an awesome camera nowadays. If you are a video person and you want to go out and you want to make content for YouTube, you want to go out and do personal projects, you want to go out and do professional work, this camera can get the job done. I don't have a lot of experience so far with this camera. I had the GH4 and that was a great camera, and this thing, from spec wise and so far messing with it, it's miles ahead of that, which is crazy to think. Does it have its shortcomings? Yes, it does. The elephant in the room, the autofocus. We all know about Panasonic's autofocus. They have worked very hard to improve their autofocus. I'm going to obviously put it through the paces and see with all the firmware updates how good the autofocus is. So we'll see. I'm going to do a full review with this camera, and I'll kind of break that down a little bit more in a later video. And then also the sensor size does not make it very good in low light, unfortunately. So those are two of the biggest knocks in this camera. So anyways, guys, we're gonna show you some video clips that I've taken with this camera in the short time that I've had it, so make sure you check that out. Alright guys, so that was the clips. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Overall, I feel like it came out pretty well. Again, getting used to this camera, figuring out exactly how this works. It's similar but also different to the GH4 that I used to own. So yeah, but I feel like it's going to be a great camera for me, and I can't wait to get more familiar with it and just work with it and see what kind of stuff I can produce with this thing. So anyways, I guess kind of breaking down what I'm going to be using this for. This camera is going to be my main video camera. And what I mean by my main video camera, if there's any B-roll that I want to put together, that's what I'm going to use. If there's any personal projects I want to do, that's what I'm going to use. If there's any hopefully professional work down the road, this is what I'm going to use. Otherwise, the Sony a6400 I'm shooting on now, this is what this camera is going to be for me. It's going to be my studio camera. It's going to be my talking head camera like this. If I'm going to do any vlogging, this is going to be my vlogging camera. I'm tempted to use the GH5 as my vlogging camera, but the autofocus is, I don't know if I can trust it. So with the Sony, you guys know how I feel about the autofocus on that thing. I trust it. I have no doubt that the autofocus on that will work. So more than likely that's still going to be my vlogging camera, and the Sony is still going to be my stills camera, because to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of reviews on this with photos, so I don't know if it takes great photos, and honestly I think this will not compare to the Sony when it comes to photo and image quality when it comes to that. But I mean, I can test out, but the Sony's going to be my stills camera. So that's kind of how my setup's going to be now moving forward. So anyways guys, that's the video. I can't wait to produce more content with this and show you guys, what I think of it, as the time goes on. So hope you guys will stay tuned for that as well. Alright, anyways guys, we're gonna wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys liked it. I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, avoiding all the craziness that's going on out in the world right now. If there's anything you guys want to see, please leave me a comment, let me know. If you're not subscribed, please make sure and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button again, leave me a comment, and we'll see you guys at the next video. You guys have a good one.